What is going on, everybody? It is Big L here, and today we are bringing you our Week 3 battle against Coach Kaden and his Valiant Crusaders. Kaden is a good friend. It's always fun to play him. So shout out to Kaden. And he's got a pretty scary team. His typings are Water and Ghost. So we get to play another team that looks terrible for ground typing. But his team is Skeledirge, Tentacruel, Hisuian Zoroark, Iron Bundle, Keldeo, Goldengo, Mega Blastoise, Quagsire, Base Form Rotom, Frostlass, and Basculin. So the first thing I thought whenever I was looking at team prep was Goldengo plus Iron Bundle just kind of wins against me. I don't really have the best answers for Bundle, especially. And Quagsire is a problem because bulky waters are a problem for my team to deal with. And he's got two, as you can see on the screen in front of you, two good ones. The team I decided to bring was Seismitoad, Grimmsnarl, Togekiss, Garchomp, Mega Altaria, and Iron Valiant. The team, I felt like I had I felt like I had an uphill battle because, like I said, I felt like Goldengo plus Iron Bundle just kind of won against me. I came up with a pretty good set for the Iron Valiant, and I have a bulky Chomp with Spikes and Stealth Rocks. So, and as you know, with Grimmsnarl, we do have our screens pivot strategy. So the first thing I noticed whenever I looked at this team was I didn't expect the Keldeo to come. I thought Mega Blastoise would come. So I was surprised to see the Keldeo. Just because I'm Fairy. He said but he said after the game he wanted the speeds here, which it makes a lot of sense. So we'll get into it, and I believe I go ahead. I think I lead Seismitoad. He switches out into Tentacruel as I go for the Grass Knot. I had Grass Knot on this. I really wanted to hopefully get some damage on Quagsire, but it is what it is. So I decided to go ahead and stay in here. I was like, I wanted to get a chance to get an Earth Power because this thing is another thing that was hard for my team to deal with, that poison typing. So I'm gonna go ahead and stay in and go for an Earth Power. He goes for a Giga Drain. That does more than I was expecting, so that tells me that this thing is offensive. So I go ahead and go for the Earth Power. He is Shuka Berry, and so we do very little. I thought that had a chance to do a big chunk of damage to that thing. So I go ahead. I want to keep this thing around. I go ahead and switch out into the Garchomp. This is okay with me. I want to take the chance to get up a layer of spikes. So that's what I do. I get up a layer of spikes, and he does the same thing. I go ahead and switch out into the Togekiss here. I also had a Grass Knot on Togekiss. Because I didn't want him to just layer the spikes. I didn't have any hazard removal. I almost brought Defog on Togekiss this week, but I decided against it. So I was hoping he wouldn't predict another Grass Knot. But he did. He goes out into the Goldengo. Goldengo's a really free switch into Togekiss. I go for the Grass Knot. We do very, very little, which is fair, but we pop the balloon, so if he switches this Goldengo back in, he will be taking spikes damage, which is really nice. So here, I know I don't really have switch-ins to Goldengo. So I'm like, well, I feel like I just kind of have to let Togekiss go down here. Without Defog, I don't really see the utility. Like, I have ways to beat everything else on the team. So I'm like, I'm going to stay in. I'm going to go ahead and go for a Flamethrower. Flamethrower has a chance to do like 85% of this thing, and I can just revenge it after. But I plan on being slower, and like I said, the balloons pop. I plan on being slower, and I can just revenge it with Garchomp, and that's fine. So I'm like, I'm gonna go ahead and go stay and go for a Flamethrower. I expect to be slower. If I would have known I was faster, so this tells me he's bulky. He's bulky offensive because my calcs were saying that the offensive Goldengo, the speedy Goldengo, not max. Like, he was almost max HP. That Flamethrower should have done like 80%. But if I'd known I was faster, I'd have gone for an air slash flinch. I wouldn't have gone for flamethrower. But we go for flamethrower just on the off chance. Like I said, just on the off chance I live a hit somehow. I mean, it's a Goldango, but so I get a big chunk of damage off, and he just goes for the make it rain, knocks out the Togekiss, which is what I expected to happen to the turn. He's really worn down. I go ahead and go out into Garchomp. I'm like, you know what? Earthquake is free right now because this thing's off a balloon. I can just go ahead and go for an Earthquake, and we get the KO on the Goldango. That is one major threat gone. But I was okay with that. And now Grimmsnarl is free to click Thunder Wave, Parting Shot, and really help my team out. So reveal that I'm bulky. He goes out into the Demon. This thing is the Demon. We see that it's Boots. I go out into Grimmsnarl. I know I can live a hit, and I can like either T-Wave it or Parting Shot out. He goes for the Ice Beam, and I go ahead and I just get a Light Screen up. I'm pretty sure I just Parting Shot out this turn. Yep, I Parting Shot out, and here I go into Valiant. So this is my set. This set is really, really interesting. I thought it had a chance to just win me the game. But we'll explain when we get there. This is, as you'll see whenever it comes in, Quark Drive activates. I am attack boosting. He goes for the Brick Break, which is fine. I was more worried he would go for a Scald on that turn and burn me. So as of right now, all we've seen is Spikes and Brick Break. So I'm wondering. I assume he has Recover. He may still have Scald. But I'm like, okay, he knows this gets Leaf Blade. He has to know. He knows I'm prepared for this thing. So I'm gonna go ahead and go for it now, and I'm just gonna go for game. He switches out into Tentacruel, which is cool, and I go for the Agility. So I am +2 speed now, and my Quark Drive is an attack. I have everything I need in place to potentially kill everything on his team at this point in time. So we go for the Psycho Cut. Psycho Cut was here just for Tentacruel. I was originally didn't have Psycho Cut on this Pokemon, but I needed it for Tentacruel. I was like, if he doesn't bring Tentacruel, which I 100% expected him to, I'm Poison. I mean, I'm Fairy, so I 100% expected him to bring Tentacruel. So I had to add Psycho Cut. And then here, he goes out into this, which I thought about it. I thought about this play for a little while. I was like, this is Zoroark. I was doing calcs, and I was like, this is Zoroark. This isn't Keldeo. Why would he bring Keldeo in on this? Because I was thinking maybe Scarf. I did some calcs, and I was like, I'm pretty sure if he's not, he has to be a boosting item to kill me here. Even because he can't outspeed me with Scarf. So I was like, this has to be Zoroark. I was like, if I go for knockoff and I'm wrong, then so be it. Because he's seen Psycho Cut. He knows I have a move to hit this super effective, even if I don't have Fairy Stab. So I was like, I'm making a play. I'm going for the knockoff. We get the super effective hit. We kill the Hisuian Zoroark. At this point, I'm like, okay, that was his best shot to stop this. We just kind of win the game now. He goes into this Demon. This is a roll to kill. I wish I had a fighting. But I go for my best move, which is Leaf Blade. It doesn't kill. It's a roll. Based on the amount of HP he had, which he had a decent amount. He had like 60, 64, 68. You'll see it in the post-game interview. It's still a roll. I did the calcs. It's still a roll. And like I said, and Leaf Blade, high crit chance move. I could not fit a fighting type move on the set. I had to have agility to outspeed this Demon. I had to be attack boosting to guarantee a kill on. Well, I had to be attack boosting. I had to have agility to outspeed. I had to have Leaf Blade to kill the Quagsire. I had to have knockoff to kill the Zoroark, and I had to have Psycho Cut to kill the Tentacruel. That gave me, knockoff also. I also needed knockoff for the Goldango. that gave me a chance to kill everything on his team. I had rolls to kill everything on his team with an attack boosting quark drive at +2 agility. He had nothing with agility. He had nothing that could outspeed me, and it gave me a roll to kill everything on his team. Unfortunately, this roll didn't go our way. I thought that I just won the game, but it is what it is. So he goes for the ice beam and he just kills us. At this point, I'm trying to think of how to play around this stupid little bird. I go out into Grimsnarl thinking I can get a screen up and pivot out, but I almost clicked Thunderwave here because that's what I really should have done. But at this point, I don't. The only ground move I have is on Seismitoad. I should have gone for Thunderwave here. This was a misplay on my part because if I go Thunderwave, I don't really need the speed. I can revenge this a lot easier. This was a misplay on my part, but this was a good prep on Kaden's part. I go ahead and go for Light Screen as he goes for Encore. Really wish I had gone for Thunderwave, like I said, but so I have to hard switch here, and I make what is a losing play, and I decided to sack my Seismitoad. I should have sacked Altaria here. This was a losing, like I said, this was a losing play. The play was to sack Altaria, go back out into Grimmsnarl and Thunderwave. But it is what it is. This was a losing play by me because once I lost all my grass coverage, I had no way to break the Quagsire. He goes for the Ice Beam, it just kills. So here I go into Altaria, and here I make another mistake. I don't click Mega Evolution. So what we think happened is I clicked a move. I went back and forth between Earthquake and Double Edge. So I clicked Mega Evolution, and I clicked a move because I knew going for Dragon Dance wouldn't matter because Quagsire is most likely unaware. So I didn't click Mega. I must have, when my move locked in, I must have forgotten to click Mega Evolution, which means I took a lot more damage from this than I needed to. I still lived, thank God, but I go for the Double Edge, and we knock it out, and we die to Recoil. Here, I believe I go for Garchomp. Yeah, I go for Garchomp. He goes for Icy Wind as I go for the Earthquake, I believe, and we get a good little chunk of damage off. I switch out into the Grimmsnarl here, hoping to Light Screen this. I think I try to T-Wave this, I believe, as he goes for the Quagsire. Takes some damage, yeah. And here, I believe I just Darkest Lariat. And yeah, once my grass coverage was all gone, I had no way to break the Quagsire. We switch in. I go for the Earthquake. Even a crit doesn't kill. And he goes for the Scald, and he gets the burn. It didn't matter because the Keldeo outsped anyway. So even a non-burned crit there would have just made it a 1-0 loss because Keldeo outsped the Garchomp. And we lose the game to Kaden 2-0. Like I said, I didn't like the matchup. I really felt like that Valiant set had a chance to go off, and it kind of did. I made a couple misplays. Like I said, if I would have clicked T-Wave on the the turn that he clicked Encore instead of Light Screen, go out, sack the Altaria, because at that point Altaria really didn't do anything anyway. And then I can just revenge kill the Iron Bundle with Garchomp. And I'm in a much better position. But we didn't do that. We misplayed. I didn't realize it until after I misplayed that I couldn't kill the Quagsire. I had to have something to kill the Quagsire because you'll see in the sets after the game he did have Recover. So if he didn't know the game was in hand, he just clicks Recover there instead of Scald when he burns me, and we just lose the game anyway. So I'll load up the interview that happened right after the game, and we will see you in a second. All right, guys, what is going on? We are here with Kaden right after the battle, and as you can see in front of you, here is his team. So I saw immediately in prep that Goldengo plus Iron Bundle just win. Like so, if you brought both of those Mons, I was gonna fight an uphill battle the entire time. So, yay! You there?
Yeah, sorry. I was looking at my team. Yeah, they both looked pretty solid in prep. I just needed to have the right stuff with them to make it work. Uh, I was really scared of Toad and Valiant. Those were my two big ones.
That's the problem with trying to bring a big time Valiant is everyone just preps like crazy for it.
But you have so much variety, though. Like, I
I
couldn't
know
actually prep for it, to be fair. It's just like, what are my offensive answers? I
it
don't have defensive play.
it suffered bad from 4 move slot syndrome this week. Like I had to bring Leaf Blade for the Quagsire. I had to bring Psycho Cut for the Tentacruel, and I had to bring Knockoff for the Zoroark. Otherwise, because like I was like, well, Leaf Blade gives me a chance because I was obviously I was attack boosting. Um, Leaf Blade gives me a chance to kill the bundle, depending on how bulky you are, and it's a high crit chance move. So I was like, well, that's the best I can do to try to cover your entire team.
Yeah, I'm actually surprised. Bundle has like base like 114 defense or
Yeah,
something crazy like
that thing
that.
is a fucking menace.
And then I think I ran enough speed to outspeed Valiant by like a point. And I was like, well, defense is high. I'll just put it in there.
Yeah, I was surprised you lived it that well. And I was really hoping you wouldn't be Boots, but obviously you were, which is fair
Yeah,
play.
I originally Tentacruel was like fully offensive. I had Ice Beam over Rapid Spin,
Mm-hmm.
but then I realized after last week I let myself get Hazard stacked and I lost. So I was like, I better just have it because I know he's got 15 different Stealth Rockers.
Well,
And
yeah.
I totally forgot Garchomp got spikes. Like I'm checking every member of your team. I was like, Piloswine, Nidoqueen. Didn't bother to check the mon that I've used that has spikes.
Yeah, I thought Bulky Chomp looked pretty good. Um, I don't know. It was just I felt like this matchup was terrible for me, honestly.
You
And
think so?
yes, water in the ground. Yeah, dude, I thought this matchup was horrible. Like I said, at team for the first thing I thought whenever I was looking at the team, like I was if you bring Goldengo and Bundle, I'm like unless for some reason you leave one of them behind, I kind of just lose the game. Now I don't
Yeah,
know. I don't know. I don't know what happened on the Altaria not Mega Evolving because I clicked
yeah.
Mega Evolve. I don't know what the fuck happened. Maybe I went back and maybe I clicked cancel and then when I double because I went back and forth between Double Edge and Earthquake. So maybe I forgot to click it the turn that I actually clicked it because I thought about going for Earthquake instead, but I was like, no, if he switches out to Quagsire, then I need to get as much damage as possible because once Valiant because I had Grass Knot on Togekiss too.
Oh, of course you did.
Yeah, I had to have I had Grass Knot on all 3 months. I had Grass Knot 3 months because I had to have a
dude.
way to beat the
After week
Quagsire.
one,
Had to have a way to beat Quagsire.
yeah.
But yeah,
Did my
once go ahead,
sorry, what?
go
Go ahead.
ahead.
I was gonna ask if my Venmo payment went through
Shit,
for
dude,
throwing that for me.
like I said, I didn't throw any. How'd I throw? I tried to, and
You didn't.
whenever you let the agility go up for free, I thought that was game.
Oh,
But
I'm a
then,
beast. Like I'm so bad at prepping for Valiant because it just does so much. I was just like, yep, there it is. That's the game.
because like that was my best chance to beat the bundle, was an
Yeah,
agility Valiant with a attack boosting. That was
yeah.
my
I had
best
to prep
chance to beat bundle.
Razor. I had to make sure if you had CC or not. That was the only way to know for sure. You could have just
Well,
probably psyched it, to be honest, but
well, that was the only move I had on Valiant that would have killed the Zoroark.
was it really?
Yeah,
Oh, I thought
nothing.
Psycho
Oh,
got killed, or I thought if you fell for it being Keldeo, then I was like, okay, he's not going to CC me anyways. I don't get anything out of this. But
yeah.
that was
I was like, well, if I think this is Keldeo, I click Leaf Blade because the
mhm.
Psycho Cut can miss.
Oh, true. I didn't even know it
Um,
could miss.
yeah, Psycho Cut can miss. I think so. I'm pretty
What
sure.
is? I thought it was really.
I'm pretty sure it can. No, that's Zen
I thought it
Headbutt.
was.
Never mind. Zen Headbutt.
I was gonna
But that was
say.
my thought process. Was Psycho Cut can miss. Um, even though that's false because I'm thinking of Zen Headbutt. Um, but if this is Zoroark,
Then
then
you look like a god.
then I have to click knockoff. Like that's the only move that can kill it. But I looked at your Keldeo. I was like, unless he's Specs, which you ended up being,
Oh yeah.
um, I can live a hit from it if it is the Keldeo. But I was like, but he has to go for a water. He has to go for either Scald or Surf or something here. And
Yeah.
if he goes for that, I can just go into Seismitoad, and I can either get an Earth Power off on something or a Grass Knot. Like, so I was like, well, if it's Zoroark, then and I figured it probably was, but I was like at first thought I was like, that's his best chance to get past this is to fool me into thinking this is Zoroark. So I was like, fuck it, we ball, and I just went for the knockoff.
Man, if I called your bluff, that would have been great. But I'm not that smart.
But yeah, I didn't think you'd bring Keldeo. Honestly, I was like, why would he bring a fighting type against the fairy types? But
Its speed tier was
yeah,
good,
it's speed tier.
and it's just my other options sucked. Like Rotom sucks, Frostlass sucks. I was actually Basculin was on here.
I thought you
Um,
might bring Rotom just because Levitate.
well, I mean, yeah, if I only bring it for Levitate, like your 16 other mods, every single mod on that team that I supposedly counter with Levitate can just click something else.
I mean, I have a few mons that
So
have knockoff.
right,
Like,
so
but that's
a
that's
Basculin was on here, and it was I had switched between Scarf, I had Banded, I had Mixed, and that's when I asked you about Hidden Power because HP Grass is the only thing I could think of for Seismitoad. Because if you ran Water Absorb, I could not do anything because Basculin just runs all water moves all the time.
yeah, because without adaptability, it doesn't.
So
So I mean, that's why that's one of them. I mean, I had to bring water absorb. I mean,
oh for sure.
but I don't know. Like, I forgot that I shouldn't have stayed in against the Tentacruel. That was stupid of me. Turn two, that was stupid. Should have scouted for
The
Giga Drain.
one the one turn where I encored on your light screen at the end of the game, I
I
felt like a god.
I almost clicked Thunderwave that turn too.
I thought you might.
Because I
Well,
was
that's
like,
great.
if he switches to Quagsire here, and I go for Thunderwave, I don't really lose much because I can just light screen next turn.
Well, then I get to spam Brick Break though.
But I
I
was
thought you
like,
would lose your
yeah,
momentum.
but I was like, if I go for parting, I also thought about just going for parting shot, but because I was like, if I
That
parting,
works.
but I needed to have a way to switch it in, switch something in that could maybe take, because like I knew with screens up, Altaria could take a hit. But and I was like, if I parting shot and he stays in, I could just sack Toad, and then I get Altaria in for free. I can Mega Evolve, live a hit. But
Yeah.
I don't know. I guess I just thought like if you go into Quagsire, I can parting shot the following turn and just still get Altaria in for basically free. But yeah,
Yeah, I'm
once
gonna be honest. I hadn't even thought about parting shot. I was like, it's light screen or Thunderwave.
now once all my grass moves were done, like uh, Quagsire just walled my entire team. Did you have? I guess I can look. Yeah,
You
you
have
had
what?
to recover. So I mean, yeah, I couldn't 1v1 it. There's no way. I had no
Yeah.
chance to 1v1 that thing. Once all my grass moves were down, I was like, okay, this thing's still at like full HP. I have zero chance to beat this thing. But yeah, but oh well, yeah, it went about the way I thought. Like the Iron Valiant set was the only way I had to like really try to break through your whole team. That
I
was like
mean,
really it.
you damn near did it too. It was close.
Yeah, I didn't think you'd have that much bulk on. I think it was still a roll. I think I'd have to run the calcs, but I think it might have still been a roll.
Maybe.
Maybe, but yeah, he lived pretty comfortably 10%, and like those are high crit moves, so you never know. So if I get that roll or if I get the crit there, and then yeah, it's game. But oh well, that was my only chance. Like I said, bundle plus Goldango just tore through my entire team, and Goldango took care of the only thing it really needed to take care of, which was the Togekiss. I couldn't believe I outsped.
Golden Goat?
Yeah, I was couldn't Togekiss. I couldn't believe Togekiss. I thought you'd be fast.
No, when I was prepping, I was calculating for like bulky nasty plot, and the more I was looking at it, I was like, I want Focus Blast for Iron Treads, so I switched that last second. But
I almost brought Iron Treads. Almost
I think Iron Treads would have been really good.
thought
Like
about
I
it,
know this is the water team, but
but
like if you
it just
soften me up
it doesn't do
late
like it
game,
does. It's bundle. Bundle just loses to it. It just loses to bundle. Just loses. I don't do anything to that thing. Bundle beats my entire seriously. Bundle plus Golden Go literally beats my entire team.
well, like not even like speed booster at the end of the game, you just come in and start spamming Earthquake against my team. That's all softened up. You don't think you could have had it?
No, probably not. I mean, because you have
Huh?
I didn't like what is it? It can't really touch Quag. It 1v1's Quagsire. I mean, Quagsire 1v1s it too. Because you just scald, and if you get especially if you get a burn, you can just scald, recover, scald, recover, scald, recover.
That's fair.
Like yeah, like, I need to have grass stuff for Quagsire. That's why losing Togekiss so early hurt. Getting Seismitoad so low so early hurt. Once I lost my grass moves, I had no way to beat Quagsire. None.
I don't think you understand how much stress I put on myself for an assault vest seismitoad that just 1v1'd my offensive Tentacruel and then
It
went
still
on to
yeah,
all the rest of the team.
it still loses 1v1 to freeze dry.
Bleh.
To freeze dry
Yeah.
on uh, Iron Bundle. So yeah, it just loses 1v1 to that. So I was like, well, because that was originally my plan was like, oh, if I bring AV on Seismitoad, I should be all right. And then I did calcs with Bundle, and I was like, oh, I still just lose to this. Okay, never mind.
What what was your item again?
I was leftovers.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah, leftovers. But yep, I originally didn't have Parting Shot on Grimstar. Originally that was Reflect, but I was like, his whole team is special.
I was gonna say I just noticed that Tentacruel's nature is mild and it's supposed to be modest. I never changed it.
Yeah, I realized that was offensive turn two. I was like, oh, that's a lot of damage. But oh well,
That is supposed to
maybe after beating me, you can turn the season around and we can play again like in playoffs.
Yeah, 1 and 2 is not. I'm just glad I took a W. Last week was fun. I was not mad about losing last week because it was a close game and it was fun. But
Yeah,
this week I was like, all right, I can't justify this every week. I gotta get a W.
and like I said, yeah, I thought your team matchup was fantastic. I was terrified of this team. Whenever I looked at it in prep, I was like, well, this is gonna be a rough one for me. Tried to pull something off with the Valiant set, but this didn't quite work. It is what it is. But
Yes, GG's.
it's been longer than the other interviews, but we're gonna call it there. If you watched this long, thank you for watching. Make sure to like, comment, do all that good stuff. Thank you to Kaden for coming on. I appreciate you. You're not gonna say anything again?
Pleasure as always.
So and yeah, and we'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace out.